Hey there, welcome to the Gaia Daily for June 10th, 11th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we have the moon in Aquarius for today, and then tomorrow it moves into the sign of Pisces. And so take a breather because we're going underwater with moon in Pisces and with Mars in Pisces and Mercury in its retrograde shadow in Cancer. It's a lot of water. And so we are being taken to some places of the past with Venus retrograde and the sun in square to Mars. So the sun is at 19 degrees today, coming very close into that exact square tomorrow with Mars. With Neptune. And so basically Mars, Neptune in square to the sun. And so the water energy is bringing up a lot of emotions. It's bringing up a lot of energies with Venus retrograde, the past. Venus is like our down home girl. She's like our local planet that is about what we really want, what we care about, what matters to us, what we value, what makes us feel good. And Venus retrograde is a reevaluation of all of that. And in this one, because of the state of the world and because of the square to Neptune and all this Pisces energy, and it's in Gemini, it's deep grief from the past, but coming up around like so much coming up around your life and the way it is and what you really wanted it to be. There's definitely some regret energy pulling us into the past. Like I was saying yesterday, it feels like a time to get rid of stuff, not add in, and old patterns are coming up, people from your past. And it's about kind of swimming around in the muck for the next couple of days to reorient. And one of the things that's happening with this really intense time that we're in right now is it's like a massive squeeze of the control energies holding back this spiritual evolution. And we have to understand that that's what we see. We see the power of control energy right now in our world. And this is how your reality is going to be. This is how it's going to be. But it's like they have to exert control. And we talked about how the cork naturally wants to float above the water. The reason why they're exerting so much control right now is because of the energies coming in. So on Friday, the 12th, that's when Jupiter goes back to 25 degrees and Jupiter and Pluto. So we're just a couple days away from Jupiter and Pluto being 1 degree away from each other. And this is a spiritual activation. That's what this energy is. Jupiter wants to expand. Pluto is breaking down, the old structures. It's about power, fear of our power, taking back our power, what we want to transform. And so Jupiter brings more of whatever it comes into. It's like a crystal. It's rather neutral. So it's just like expanding the transformation of the structures of our world. And I'm feeling it like on, the physical body. If we can receive right now, see, it's just such a juxtaposition and this weird time in between eclipses. But eclipses are about lining up. It's about the timeline alignment. It's about things being revealed. It's about, in this case, going back and understanding things from our past more clearly so that we can change those patterns. So we're coming up against like really, really stuck belief systems and patterns within our being. But it's all about, this, I guess just the overall message is like, it's all about the awakening and what's happening on a spiritual level. That's a natural force that's like on a trajectory. Nothing can stop it. It's coming more and more. So the control energies are having to do more and more effort to hold this train back. Right? And that's where we're at right now. But a big part of the message coming through right now is that this is just where we're at right now, right? This Venus retrograde, and we haven't even had Mercury turn retrograde yet. that happens on the 18th, next week. And so we are, it feels like we're going to be here forever. Like we've just shifted over to some twilight zone. And but the point of it, of that, like what it's doing for these souls, for you guys, for the supernova souls, is just swimming in the eddy of the past. I'm never going to get out of this. It's the same old stuff, same old patterns, same old things. Here I go again. But we actually need this Venus retrograde and this Mercury retrograde and this eclipse season to snap on. So when people's soul retrieval come home, and when they get a timeline alignment, when it really clicks in, it kind of clicks in. It literally like snaps into place. So that's what's actually trying to happen, but it feels like we're going back to the Dark Ages, right? And that's just kind of part of it. And we do have to go to the Dark Ages and swim around a little bit for the next couple of days, because the sun in Gemini in square to Mars and Neptune is about a complete reorientation, right? So the Venus retrograde, this is all a beautiful thing. It's not going to feel good, I don't think. But also very, very quintessential spiritual experience. Like, whoa, my life has been a shit show. Why? Oh, because I'm like undoing all of my other lifetimes so I can get onto my timeline, so I can do what I'm here to do. You have to understand that the energies weren't quite right. See, this is more evidence of like what's really going on. Is that through the Dark Ages, we were trying to bring the light and hold the light the whole time, and we were told this is the big lie that's being resolved right now, if you can receive it. We were told these souls, these supernova souls, are in shame. They're programmed with massive shame around the path of this earth evolution, and now this bloom of control and confusion and lies, and it's like, oh, you give up. You lost, we lost the earth, it's over, let's go find another place to be, right? And it's not true. But it's like the energies in the Dark Ages, say in the Middle Ages, and those dark, dark times that you came into as this beautiful, bright light, holding space for the light. And then the lies said that, oh, you brought the light to earth, right? So you created the darkness because it's duality. And it's not true. Because what I've been shown in my sessions is that these souls, I was talking about this the other day, come in as a group together, like, yay, let's go hold space during this dark time. So you have taken on, these supernova souls individually and in your soul groups have taken on nasty, dark karma, blaming yourself, shame, feeling like you've done something horrible. All you ever did was want to bring the light here. That's what you did wrong. All you ever did was challenge the control again and again. And you've been fighting this monster for eons. So during those darker times, we couldn't really actually get anywhere, right? And this incarnation, what I'm seeing in astrology charts, is like, oh my gosh, a whole part of a life. First of all, you're living, like they didn't come for you this time. Then you got to figure out what to do with old age, and it's like, oh my God. And then you've got all of these lifetimes to clear before you can get started on living your life this time. And that's what's actually happening right now. It looks like your life's over. You can never go do anything again. You have to go hide in the woods because everybody's crazy. And it's like, no, that's not actually what's happening. What's happening is that you are resolving all of these lifetimes so you can start actually living on Earth now. I usually see in these souls, these supernova souls, like maybe 1 or 2 lifetimes where they fully expressed who they are in their star power. And then all those stories came in about, oh, the light brings the darkness. Oh, it's all your fault. Oh, you started that war. And it's like deep in the soul of these beings, this is why you struggled so much, because that's not who you are. And we've bought into this lie of who we are, and we're carrying karma that's not our own, of the control energies. How are they going to ever address their karma if we're going to carry it for them? And you can carry somebody else's karma and pain as long as you want, but you don't have the tools to deal with it. And I've been shown, like, game over, this spiritual evolution that's happening, this natural force, this culmination of powerful energies moving us into higher dimensional frequencies. We tip over the scales when these supernova souls decide that they're no longer going to carry the karma of the collective and of the dark forces, and cleanse and purify back to the place when they came to Earth, and understand their soul is uncorruptible, because you came in with a purified astral body, doing lots of whole evolutionary experiences, and now you're playing this lower game and you're learning, but you've also gotten very stuck for thousands of years. And so now it feels very, very stuck, but it's actually the unsticking. What we're experiencing right now is the unsticking. And so for this Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, time in between eclipses coming up on this eclipse, the most important thing is to understand that this is the end, not, it's like this is an expression of the shift and to be ready for what's coming around the corner, which might not be till 2021. Who knows? I think we'll have glimpses of what in the heck we're doing and clarity as we go through the rest of this year. But Jupiter-Pluto is a massive spiritual activation, breaking the lower matrix. Okay? That's what's happening. The lower matrix is breaking. And then can you give yourself permission to come out? Right? So we're at this place where it's these souls. You are here. You've gone through all of this. You're still here because you're leading the way over this precipice. You releasing the shame. You releasing the shadow. You releasing all of those lies. And coming back into honoring the divine gift that you are as a star worker. As in your star power. And so just keep that in mind, and that we, almost it's like we've been doing this blind work of all this other lifetimes of stuff because we can't access that consciousness, And so we're doing the work and it's bleeding through and it's just all this karma and all this garbage. And this is a culmination energy. It's like, all right, clean it completely out. Go to every corner and scrub that thing, because you don't want to take this with you. You can't take it with you, And we are here to hold a higher vibrational energy to tip the scales over into, this spiritual revolution. It's our turn. It's our time. So right now it's our time to completely clean out and find within the permission, put our attention on the light coming in, and that this is a spiritual awakening, and that this is our reality we're creating in our way. And it's not necessarily your way, but it's like you have the codes and you're here to work like in thy will, right? Like there's a bigger evolutionary plan. It's why you even bothered with this dark garbage down here. And so let's get on with it, right? And that's where Mars is like in Pisces. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's clean out those corners. Let's move some stuff. And then Mars and Neptune, this is the deal with Mars and Neptune. I feel like there's a huge opportunity here. We can spin around in the mud and get lost in the corners. But what if in one of those corners you find this massive treasure of meaning behind everything you've gone through? And then it's like, when that moment comes of revelation and you're like, oh, that's why this and then this and then this all had to happen so I could get right here to do this or meet this person or have this experience, right? That's what's coming for us. That's what's available for us if we can put our head above the water, over these next few days. Is like, oh, but on a huge evolutionary lifetime, Earth evolution for these souls. And it might not make sense right now, but that's what's trying to happen of like, oh, that's why and then that happened, like through your lifetimes to get you right here, right now, for this. And then those things aren't as important exactly how they played out. And you don't have to carry the pain of it anymore, right? Because it's like, oh, I thought I was abandoned. And I was actually being led and guided through this whole experience, through all these lifetimes in this evolution, and then through all the lifetimes in this particular incarnation to undo. Because that's what I was saying earlier, and I didn't quite finish, but like the energies on the planet, in those other evolution times in the Dark Ages, say, couldn't really support you in your growth. And that's what's different. That's the reality of what's happening. And that's why you have to go and do so much karmic work in this lifetime. Because like, okay. And I just, like I said, I see it in astrology charts. It's like, oh, you put so much on your plate. But it's also about like your full expression of your star self and getting all that gunk out of the way, all those stories, and that place in the experience of your experiences where you're like, oh, that's why this all happened. And I'm right where I need to be, right at the right time, ready for what's coming in this next chapter. And you are the next chapter. Not to put any pressure or anything. It's not about that, right? The Sagittarius South Node is about getting out from under the failure and I don't deserve my quest and what am I even doing on the earth, deep esoteric depression, and moving into this is what it's all about. And I'm perfectly placed to do exactly what I'm here to do. And that is like the most satisfying energy that comes up in past life pictures with clients. Is like when you find a past life, this is the timeline reset. So this is what's trying to happen for us right now. And you find a time in another lifetime where you were more fully expressing your gifts and you were like, the feeling of like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with the right people. Like every day is exciting. That's what you guys want, right? Venus retrograde is bringing up all this stuff of like, well, if I just had this, then I could do my work here and I could figure it out. If I just had this, if I just had my basic needs, right? If I just had that relationship, if I just had my community, if I just had this, and it's like, okay, but this seems to be the first adjustment that needs to happen, is this revelation of who you are and why you're here and that you're at the right perfect place at the right perfect time. Maybe there's souls lining up wishing they could be here on earth, right? And we got to come at this time. And that's because you are the chosen one. And you have what it takes to tip the scales just by being and embodying. Let that spiritual revelation come. Go into the corners. You might need to find it there and swim around a bit in the muck. But it's like, whoa. How magical life got me right here, right now, ready for what's coming. And that's when we can find each other and get to work and get back to that feeling of being at the right place, the right time, doing exactly what you're here to be doing. That's what you really want, more than any of the things you think you want. That's the energy of these souls, because it's been a long road getting to this place. So are you going to let yourself have it or not, right? That's the Cancer energy. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep your head above the water. Breathe in some of that Aquarius fresh air. And we'll get ready to go into the depths of it tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow for the daily update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.